Hey, I'm Shan.
Yeah, so this is gonna be what I've decided is the start as smooth as I always do. What is gonna first episode of what I'm calling visceral reviews because it's visceral cleanup.
I like that.
And this is my friend Sonia, who is like a horror expert, so fitting.
But this isn't a horror game, right? There's nothing creepy about it,
and
other than
we're not talking about the game, but we're not going to talk about the body parts I'm cleaning up.
That's right.
We're talking about The Last of Us season 2 premiere on HBO. You watched it, right? You did. You ended up being.
I did.
Okay. I was like, this would be awkward if you didn't.
Like, so I didn't do the homework.
And I just thought it'd be a fun way to kind of do it without just us staring at each other on a screen. It'd be like in my head, what I thought of. This is a 3 a.m. idea. So
the best ideas.
I wasn't sleeping, and I was like, you know what would be really funny? And I was like, I'm just gonna do it. Which is also how the streaming thing came up too. I had some work projects that probably aren't gonna come through because of our dear Lord President.
The world.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm just gonna do this then. It's something I thought about for years, so I'm just gonna do it, whatever. It's not gonna really cost me anything. So
the only way to do it is to do it.
Right? You just gotta start. And then I really want to talk about The Last of Us, and I want to talk about Murderbot later when that comes out. And it'll be like a 2-week crossover with those two before the season finale of The Last of Us, because I don't want to talk about it on Reddit. So
Reddit is terrifying.
So or like Twitter or even like Blue Sky. So I was like, you know what? I had a lot of fun talking to you when we did the podcast thing when this first season. And I thought we had some good talks. And if we take out that recap thing that took so much of our time.
Yes.
And we just talked about the episode and what we liked and what we didn't like. And we can compare, and I do want to compare it to the game, but I don't want to get ahead of where the show is and where the game is. Maybe like some references, but no specific spoilers. So there will be spoilers.
I was going to ask what the rules were for that.
But not like, well, and then Abby does this later. And I wonder if they're, not like that. But
right. Okay.
So just try to keep it contained within what was shown in the episode we're talking about. Maybe I probably do have some questions about if something will happen now, because we saw something that happened in the game, but it was different. But I don't want to go really into detail about it because they might have been doing it later anyway, in a different way, So my 3 a.m. idea is like when you're able to, because everybody's life is in a bit of an upheaval lately, is we're like two coworkers cleaning up after Joel or whoever.
Honestly, yeah.
And just talking about it, which is why I picked this medical facility, because this is like after.
That's very, very clever.
So that's basically the whole premise of it. It's silly. I don't care. We're doing it. Hopefully it doesn't freak out again. Okay, we're back on. Sorry about that. My computer is what it is. We just gotta live with it.
It's tired. We're all tired.
So we are going to start off again. The whole idea about this is I'm gonna clean up this mess that Joel made last season. And we're going to talk about the season 2 premiere of Last of Us. There will be spoilers about the current episode. We will limit spoilers to nothing specific really about what happens in the games, but we will speak about the games and compare them and stuff. I think you have to, right? Like you can't not.
I think so. And it's fun, especially if we keep the moments contained.
Right, within what's happening within the episode. So yeah. That's basically the premise of it, and let's get going. So what was your first what do you think overall about the episode?
I liked it. I did like it. When we
That's
started
always
with
a good.
Abby,
I liked it. I did like it.
I know. I think I overhyped myself, not in the fact that I think it was bad, but I just was so anxious and I just needed to know so badly like how they were going to frame everything that I think I just made myself anxious about watching a TV show, which makes no sense. But we didn't start with Abby. We didn't start with an Abby episode, and I did tell you yesterday that I thought we might. But I did like the Abby open.
Yeah. Do you think we're gonna get a specific Abby episode?
We have to. I know it wasn't everybody's favorite when we had those kind of one-off episodes last season. I absolutely loved every single one of those episodes. So there's no way we can't get an Abby one.
I thought the one-off episodes were good. Like I felt like, especially God, the name is not in my head right now, but
The Offerman one?
yeah, the Offerman one. Like that was like an excellent episode.
I think that's like depending on which crowd you're in. I think that's one of the like most hated ones, but I'm happy when that side of the fandom is unhappy. And there's so much that's going to make people unhappy this season. So I am excited for all of that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think people start unhappy. Is
Baseline unhappy for sure.
yeah. Which I mean, I don't like. I still, even though I think Caitlin Denver, the actress for Abby,
Yeah.
I think she's an excellent actress. I think she has the face of Abby for sure. And hair and stuff. I mean, I think there will always be part of me that wishes she still had the physicality. You know, but that is what it is at this point. Like, I think acting wise she will for sure be able to pull it off.
By the start of this episode, I was like, okay, she has that nailed down. And I do get that because there's something intrinsic about Abby's character that was her character build. But I understand if we are going off of the basis of last season and like the realities that they have established for The Last of Us universe, I get it. I'm slightly disappointed. I really wanted to see somebody very muscular, but I think I'm about it. I think she has sold me completely.
I just like the yeah. I don't have a problem with that. I think she can pull it off, and I think it'll be good. It's a in a perfect world situation, right? But I like the episode too. As I say, like with an uplift.
Yeah.
I thought it would maybe I thought it would start off bigger.
With a little bit more of a bang, right?
Right. It kind of started
is.
off like the season finale wasn't the season finale last whatever year it came out, right?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, yeah, we're just, you know.
There's a lot to set up, though. Like, there is a lot to set up. We're kind of restarting, reframing. The addition of the stalker was really cool. I know we're jumping ahead a little bit because I do want to say that I think starting on Abby and the morning scene was the right decision.
The day after, yeah, absolutely.
The day after, like they're literally burying their dead. I'm not sure if we want to. I think do we know who's the dead? I didn't.
We don't. I don't
watch.
think so.
Okay, so we're seeing them.
We just know that they're
burying
fireflies.
Dead, and then we know that they tried to save people and they literally couldn't because Joel destroyed everybody.
Joy killed. Yeah.
Oh my god. Like yeah, Joel. Like I just that was a great opening. you cleaning everything up right now. Like this is what they just walked out of. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And left me to clean it up.
Lonely little Shannon. And then immediately like cutting to Joel, and like in the game when Joel and Ellie were having this conversation, I was like, why is Ellie being a little bit skeptical? Like, why is she pushing back so bad on Joel potentially lying? Like, where is that coming from? And Pedro's lying face in this made me laugh so hard, because that's why. Like, that is why she doesn't trust you, because your lying face is so bad.
You know, so here's a question. When you played the game, the first game, did you think Ellie knew he was lying?
I kept going back and forth. I think there's a part of her that always knew. It's like one of those things you know, but you don't want to believe, and you don't want to believe it so badly that you're going to keep pushing it out of any type of logical conclusion, but then it eats you alive, and that's kind of what we're seeing.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought she decided at that moment, or not, maybe not consciously decided. I don't think any of this was conscious for her. I think she decided, or she didn't 100% believe him, but she chose to unconsciously. But I think there's always been a doubt, right?
And what can you do?
Right. I mean, he's essentially her guardian. And he, like, what is she gonna do? Try to go back to Utah? To, like, prove him wrong or whatever? Like, you can't do that. You know, here's the thing. Ellie annoyed me this episode. And I didn't expect that.
Same.
I was like, because I don't mind. I think it's 100% understandable that she is angry at Joel and she treats Joel like shit, basically. But she didn't until the end, is the thing. But she's treating everybody else like shit except for Dina.
The one thing that I was wondering, and I know that like Ellie was caustic and standoffish and like, you know, witty and sarcastic in, you know, season 1. Obviously we're taking inspiration from the character. But in the game, yes, she was at odds with Joel, but she was part of the community. And it seemed like a well-respected part of the community, which I guess she's not respected.
Right.
Obviously, everybody kind of lets her do her own thing because she's good at what she does. But I was also wondering why they chose to make her at odds with the community a little bit more.
I still think she's like part of the community, right? I just think she is being a little dick about it.
And I mean, she's 19. The world's shit.
Well, Ellie in the game.
Go off early.
Ellie in the game for this. Ellie is not as stoic as she was in the, like, Ellie was kind of shut off in the game. No. She has just more attitude. I think it's something to get used. Like, I didn't like how she was treating that lady when they were out on patrol. And I understand that she's going through a lot and she has some sort of like unconscious anger, death wish, whatever, for being immune. She's absolutely survivor's guilt. 100%.
Yeah.
But what bothers me about that is, especially in that one scene, in that section where they're on patrol, is she's doing it and putting others in danger at the same time. She's not just doing it to herself. And that kind of was... I'm not a huge fan of that.
Especially because in the game, like, they went off and they did this, but like Ellie, Dina, and even Jesse, I know that Jesse is like, I'm the leader, but it felt like they were more, I don't want to say childlike because they're not children, but I guess they seemed a little bit more their age, and I guess you can say Ellie's also acting her age just by rebelling a little bit, but it seemed less mean-spirited.
Yeah.
And mean-spirited is probably not even the right way to say it.
Did you watch the episode 1 discussion they had on the after the episode?
Oh, I forgot they do that. No, I didn't.
Well, Dina, the actress that plays Dina, was like, they don't disrespect authority. They just want to know, why do we have to do these things? And I was like, maybe I didn't see that portrayed in that section. Because what do you mean, why do we have to not go into this big grocery store by ourselves when we're on patrol with other people? Like, what explanation do you need for that? I don't really get.
Could be a cool, like, I mean, now when we rebel, people go out and, like, they drink, you know, they binge drink, and you do kind of stupid things like that. So it could be like this, like, our frontal cortex is still developing in the apocalyptic world. So yeah, we are gonna go check out this grocery store, like, shut up. But, like, the image of, like, that rugged cowboy dude on the horse next to the expedition, like, lead, who also looked a little bit older, and just, like, their complete inability to control these two teenagers was kind of funny.
Maybe they need to, like, mix it up a bit. He respects authority a bit too much. Too much, are you really not gonna stop them? I'm gonna stop them. This is stupid.
Yeah, I sit here on my horse,
my little hat. So
it could just be like we're seeing teenagers be teenagers.
Yeah, I think I have a fairly low tolerance for that. And in the game, Ellie's anger was contained to Joel.
Right.
So it's an adjustment. I have to. It's not a wrong decision on their part. It's an adjustment I have to make from game to screen. But she did annoy me. I was like, Ellie,
calm down a little bit.
I love you, but chill out. They're not Joel. They didn't do anything.
I wonder if for her, it's like the start of an arc of her. Because so Ellie has always kind of pushed back against authority, or at least had a smart little quib to authority. So I wonder if it's just, and it'll be explored a little bit more, but, like, she's lashing out and she's doing all of these things to further show people how angry she is at Joel, because, like, she's clearly mad at Joel for telling her what to do, for Joel having an influence on her assignments through Tommy, Joel
overprotectiveness,
fighting for her, right? So, like, maybe she's, like, lashing out, and that's, like, just to show viewers, like, not only is she mad at Joel, her anger towards Joel is making her lash out at the community, because we don't have the game to fall back on.
So
we'll see.
Here's my question, and this is my question, if it's spoilers or not for the game versus show. We can all assume, even if you've never watched, or if you've never played the game, that Ellie knows now, right? What Joel did. And that's why she's... even though they haven't explicitly said, like... I feel like they've implied it enough. And Joel's just not willing to talk about it. But...
yeah, I mean, or if
it's
she doesn't
more anger
know,
than
she subconsciously knows or doubts enough that it's influencing her behavior.
I just think the anger is more than... oh god, overflowed. Then my dad is overprotective and is annoying.
Right, like when Moira, I'm not sure what her name was. I forget what her name was.
Moira, yeah. Gail.
Yeah, Gail. So, like, when Gail was talking to Joel and being like, shut up, like, you're the most boring problem ever. Like, my 19-year-old daughter hates me. I'm like, it's a little bit more than that, though, Gail.
Well, she knows that, and that's what she was pushing him towards.
Yeah, so it's just like...
oh, that's another thing. You know what they did really well? What I really enjoyed? So I like that Dina, because they didn't really do this in the game. Dina has her own relationship with Joel.
That it hurts so much in relation to Joel and Ellie, and I wasn't prepared for that.
And it really showed like, oh, Joel's a big old softie now.
Yeah.
But so we have that scene with Dina, which was great, and we like he's just a big old softie, and you know he's just trying to get his 19-year-old daughter to just know that he loves her. He wants to protect her, whatever, right? Then he had that
I loved
scene.
how he was like stumbling over himself to continue talk. He's like, I don't want to talk about my feelings, but I'm gonna keep stumbling over myself to talk about these feelings.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to talk about this. And Dina was like, okay, so the circuit breakers and stuff. And he's like, but you know, I was just...
Yeah. I'm just doing my best.
We're all just doing our best here. Just want to protect her. Is that so bad? But, so they showed that, and then it's like, I had some notes, and I was like, oh, Joel's like been a softie these last 5 years. But then we have that scene with Gale. And when Gale's like, cut the shit. You know? What happened? Why is she so angry with you? And he's still looking all like softy Joel, being very vulnerable. And Pedro was so good in hardening himself.
I know.
And he's just like, I saved her life.
Just closed.
I was like, oh,
so
there's
good.
Joel. Like, I think softy Joel is Joel, because we saw softy Joel with his daughter in the first season.
Yeah.
But this is also Joel, and he hasn't been showing that, and there he is. And I loved, Catherine O'Hara also did an excellent job when she jumped back when he stood up abruptly, because she knows he's still there.
So far, everybody has been, and granted, it's been one episode, and everybody had like a cumulative 10 minutes each, but so far, brilliant casting.
Yeah. And I'm interested, because she's a new character. She wasn't in the games.
Right.
So I'm interested to see... Because she told everybody, she killed her husband. She's very angry about that. Oh, that's another thing. Oh, no. I don't know. See, this is the tough part. It's like, because we don't know much about anything. Okay, maybe this is another episode talking about. But like, I think what Gale said about Joel. Oh my God, come on. Is basically the writers saying this is where you'll be.
Oh, interesting.
Because, you know, when she's talking about, like, Joel killed her husband, she understands why he did, but he's still so angry at him.
Yeah.
I think that's, like, audience insert kind of thing. Like, this is the show. This is our season 2 premise.
Oh, that's good. And, I mean, it's just, like, a harsh reality of the world that, like, disagreement could... literally be I killed your husband, but I had a reason.
I'm interested to see, because you've seen the trailers, right? The trailer or whatever. So
the trailer.
I'm assuming Eugene, because I saw the speculation before, Eugene is the guy he's pointing a rifle at, the old white-haired guy.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time he didn't look infected or anything, but he could have been. But we don't know. And Joel was making some faces when she's talking about how he killed her husband. And it was understandable, but I don't like how you did it. It's like, how did he do it?
We'll have to see.
Yeah, so I'm interested in that. And she's just... I also find it fascinating that she... Or not even her. The audacity of him to go to her for therapy.
Only therapist in town. Take your weed and therapize me.
Yeah, okay, sure, I killed your husband. Can you get over it with some weed?
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, if you're a therapist, well, you know, is that a baby head?
it's just a head.
Okay. But I mean, maybe It's Joel. I would not be surprised if Joel were to specifically go to somebody who does egg him on and like push him because he needs somebody to like touch that darkness in him, you know, in a way that like has been shut off.
Somebody that'll call him on his shit too.
Yeah.
Which she hasn't done yet because he was surprised about it. But she was in a gives no F's mood that day. I'm also just really curious about, because I don't think she's just gonna be somebody Joel talks to about his feelings. And there's a reason she has that backstory with him, and it's gonna come to fruition in the future.
I have theories, but I feel like that's not something we can talk about just yet.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's the struggle with especially the beginning.
Yeah,
because what we talked about yesterday is also spoilers about how did we think the first episode was gonna go compared to the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
and I was wrong. I'll admit that with what I said. And I'm like really curious because what I said was I don't think they do it like in the middle. I don't think what would happen in the middle of the season or second episode. But I'm not sure because they're changing everything because there's going to be that whole attack. Oh, that's another thing. The sewer fungus tentacles. When he opened that pipe and saw the bramble or whatever it's called, I was like, there's gonna be that fungus. I knew it.
Yeah.
And it started like little antennas, which they also did to the stalker, which I thought was cool because you know in the game those things scared the crap out of me the whole game.
I never got over how creepy those
I'm
convinced
that's the reason I cracked my tooth.
Yeah.
Because even like you go into a room in the game. Oh, it's waving. What's up? How you doing?
He's like, yeah. The room,
keep going,
the room.
Stay on topic. You go into a room and it's telegraphing those stalkers are in there, or not the stalkers. No, the stalkers are in there and stuff like that. And I'm like, gotta get the shotgun out or something. They're gonna come.
It's not going in there.
And oh man,
it might be silly, but I never put together in the game that stalkers were smarter. It took the council having a conversation about them being smarter to be like, oh, I guess that's true. I guess they're not just evolved to behave differently.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Because that also happened when I was watching the episode, and Ellie was walking through, and it literally hit itself.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a weird place to be.
They are smart.
I was like, oh yeah, it did look like it was. You're right, Ellie. Good job. I didn't see that at all. I liked the what they did with it. It also did the little antennas sticking out. I wonder because it had eyes. Like, how fast do you go blind? Because in the game, the recently infected can still see. The ones that are just like, you know, but they're not all mushed out. So I'm wondering if... God, come on. I'm wondering if they can still see, because they showed her eyes. And I don't know, I felt like it was like a pointed showing. But I'm not sure. Because I apparently am not as smart as Ellie, because I didn't see that it was smart, too. I was just like, oh, I think it could see.
I would never put that together, that they're smarter. What an idiot. Oh, and completely unrelated, but, like, talking about, like, Abby's physicality, I thought it was kind of clever that we're introduced to Abby, and then next scene is Ellie fighting, and she is, because something that you and I have been going back and forth on is Abby's physicality versus Ellie's, and how that's going to be portrayed in the show, right? Because Ellie is, I don't know, what, 5 foot something and very petite. And but even in the game, she was muscular, but still fairly small.
I mean, I don't think
But
it'll
we
be
were-
a squirrely be like there's gonna be a confrontation between the two, right? Like that's just the whole premise of the show. Like
Right.
they've implied that enough through the trailers. And my whole thing is like it's gonna be the battle of the under 5'5" because even Dina's small.
Oh yeah, it is a bunch of tiny people. But I did like seeing. It was clever for them to kind of acknowledge the fact that, like, okay, these people aren't necessarily the most, it's not Joel. Ellie has to use her body. She has to be clever. She has to kind of tackle somebody and use her legs and use somebody's strength and build against them. So that was a good lead in. I think that was a very smart move of, we know what the audience is thinking. We are already prepping for your stupid arguments. Like, here we are.
To me, though, it was also I'm gonna miss it though. In the future, like that, Ellie had to be clever, and now I think it's like the clever versus clever. It's gonna have to be because it's. I mean, I don't know what like. I'm sure Abby is going to be different in her skills than what Ellie's skills are, and I am kind of interested to see what they change on that from the game.
I think Abby, even with how, and it could just be me inferring and reading too much into things, but I think even with them at the memorial, and how dare them include the giraffes in that, by the way.
I know! Oh my god, I thought that too. Because I remember, I saw the episode comes on, we see the giraffes, I'm like, oh yay, giraffes! And I see her, I'm like, oh, yay. Giraffes.
Just way to darken everything.
And I was like,
bastards.
I totally forgot that that's where it all happened. It was literally right. I was like, oh right, they had this great emotional moment, and then everybody's dead.
But you still get the sense of this is a military-esque faction, even by the way that the Fireflies were dressed, the way that they were carrying themselves. I think Abby is still going to bring that, just in a different way, because it has to be different. But I think we're still getting that. So I think Ellie's still going to have to be clever, but I understand that you're going to miss just how differently Ellie had to carry herself fighting people versus like the infected.
You know what though? I'm wondering if Ellie's gonna be the more physical one. Because if she does have because I mean the military is not all brute force. A lot of it is very tactical. So if that's
True.
what Abby is now,
Ellie is very angry.
whereas like Ellie has been raised by Joel, who is all brute force.
And she has the chip on her shoulder right
Right.
now. So
And we're seeing that this is how she's choosing to train, is brute force. So that just might be it. That would be interesting. That would be an interesting change, I think.
and I forget, so I'm not a purist when it comes to like adaptations, and I forget where you land. Like, I don't care if there's major changes in adaptations. I kind of like it when there are, because it does feel different and it does feel new. Where do you land on that?
I'm not a purist. I think adaptations, my rule for adaptations, it needs to be recognizable to the source material. Like, you can't do an Until Dawn situation. I'm really upset about that.
Oh my god, you just made my blood skyrocket.
Right? And have you ever read The Rook?
Yeah, you made me.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't make me, but I read it because of you.
And, well, they turned that book into a TV series. And you can kind of reckon it, but I think it needs to be recognizable, and you need to match the heart and vibes. Like, Fallout did a very good job of that.
At that point, why? Like, why attach yourself to the IP? All that's telling me, especially with Until Dawn, is you didn't think this movie could stand alone without a massive lie behind it, and I think you think it's going to be bad. Okay,
Right.
let's not have a 30-minute rant on Until Dawn.
Yeah, no, like, and it's... I don't, yeah, I don't understand the... You made your own movie, just give it a different title. Like, we see the trailer, seeing that matches the title, and you're saying it's from Sony, it's not going to make me think, oh, this is an Until Dawn movie of the game I played, and where almost everybody lived except for Mike, but I didn't move the controller. You know, that kind of thing. So I don't understand. Yeah, I also don't get it. But yeah, I think Last of Us is also a good one. I think Last of Us last season I really enjoyed too, even with like the changes. Like I'm absolutely not. I think it helps that Neil Druckmann's part of it, like a very
100%,
influential
100%.
part of it. Like I before my computer crashed before, I talked about Murderbot, right? And I've seen the trailer for that. I don't know if you've read those books either, but
is the Martian part of that or no?
The Martian, from what Matt Damon was in?
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay, then I have not read them.
Well, Murderbot...
I don't even know if The Martian was based on a book, but...
Murderbot is mostly a series of novellas.
Peak literary form,
and
by the way.
I mean, they are pretty great. And they've also... A couple years ago, they became, like, kind of my comfort read or audiobook listen to when, like, things are shit. So I've listened to them a lot. And, you know, I saw the trailer for that, and from what I've seen so far, I do have my hopes up for it. Because it's matching the vibes, and it's recognizable from the source material. They're obviously changing things, but that's all I really need. Like, I don't need to be...
I'm debating if I want to read those and then watch, or just watch.
I mean, it's a novella. I mean, you could probably read most of them by the time. Like, I think there might be 2 full books and a bunch of novellas. And a short story.
Try to tackle that.
Maybe just go for the first one and see, you know, how you like it. But yeah, I'm not an adaptation purist, and I think it's not. I think constricting yourself to that isn't really helpful either. Because there's just 2 different mediums, and there's some things you just cannot do in a TV show or movie or whatever that's so easy in a book.
I think it keeps things interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know everything that's going to happen. I have an idea of things that are going to happen, but it's still new. And I do like that. I don't know, I just like people... You're making it into your own, and then it's like you can experience the story multiple times. It's basically like playing Mass Effect, but people make different decisions. Which I will never do, no matter how many times I play.
my Renegade playthrough, that will never happen, but it will happen.
You know, the only
That's another show that's going to be very fun to discuss. Or very heated to discuss.
I'm worried about that one.
There's no way it can work, which is why I'm so excited about it. The only way it can work is if, and you gave me your reasons why it will not work. I think the only way it will work is season 1 has to be the contact war. We follow Anderson and Saren, and we only get hints of the name Shepard later. But then you said that was too big of a tease.
That's rude. I think, yeah. I mean, I guess it might be able to work. I think it'll make a lot of people very angry if you say, this is not cool, game. If you're expecting a Shepard, and as beloved as Anderson is, we're not getting a shepherd story.
There's
But
no way. There can't. If there's a shepherd, the world will explode.
But so do you think there could never? I mean, that's the thing, though, right? Like, I don't know if you can get away with having a show and never having a shepherd.
I think you can only have hints. I think you can only have hints.
But
and
he's
when
such
you
a
read
big
the,
part of it. Like, you
I don't
can't
know
even
if
do
you've
the
read
Reaper stuff.
books, but like you get like one reference of shepherd here and there, and it's just the name, no defining tactics, and even that, like, your heart rate skips a little beat, and like that's probably enough for me because
I didn't know there were books.
they're actually fine. They're fine. They're fine and fun.
Are they like after? What's their?
One follows Anderson, one like Anderson and Saren. So one is about the elusive man.
So they're like prequels?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just think it's either prequel based, Fallout based, where it's just kind of like in that universe, or disappointment based for most of the fans. But then again, they're probably not thinking about the fandom. They're thinking about the TV fans who have no skin in the game.
But I think if you don't think about the fans in any real capacity, oh my god, then you risk I don't think you can alienate that built-in audience. Like, that's the whole point of using the IP, is to get in that built-in audience.
But how do you not alienate them by adding a shepherd that's not theirs?
Yeah, no, I think that is why it's going to be very, very difficult. And I think the reason why it's such a big story, like, how are you going to not have the Reaper War?
Just little hints. And then sometimes, like, you'll see a foot going into another room, and that will be shepherd, but you only see like the armored foot or something. And it's just teased the entire,
I don't know, we'll see. I don't think it can work. Like, you can't have like you can't have this epic thing and shepherd not be in it, unless you're just never going to go into that time period, which again I don't think would be cool with people.
I guess visceral reviews, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, that would be cool. So, I mean, I hope so. That would be awesome, actually. I do, yeah, so back to The Last of Us. It was a slower start than I thought it was going to be, but maybe that was necessary to set it all up. I don't know. Like, I did like the episode, but I feel like I didn't love it.
I think that's where I landed, anxiety aside. I mean, so the stalker was a nice touch, but it also doesn't feel, I guess, what is going to be the launching point? I wonder, like, even next week, it kind of, like, it's, but then again, maybe next week we're going to have a standalone Abby episode. I need my standalone Abby episode.
I mean, I don't think this is a spoiler. I mean, I don't think anything the creators have talked about already should be considered spoilers. I think we will learn about Abby's past earlier than we did in the game. Like,
and we're already getting more hints of it, like her emotional introduction. That's
well,
okay,
her
so
introduction in general, right?
Right, like her introduction here, her introduction in the game was not emotional.
I thought it was very emotional.
You think as emotional
Not for
as this
her.
one? Oh.
But yeah, I think do you think they think it's a mistake how they introduced her in the game and this is their fix?
Maybe not a mistake, but I think they learned
It didn't send the message they thought it would.
right. I think it shut a door. I think her introduction in the game shut a door that some people refuse to open just out of principle, and then some people were just unwilling to open, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, where did you end up in the game with her? Like, no sport. Like, did you end up liking her as a character?
I don't like her as a person, but I like her as a character.
Yeah, I think she's
don't think
a well-written character.
Yeah, I don't think she's a character I can ever like, but she's a character I can understand, and you can sit at my table, just don't talk to me.
Yeah, that's where I landed too, because it's also like you can understand something, like Moira said. Not Moira. Oh my god, you got me on there. Like Gail said. You know, I understand this. I'm still angry.
Right.
And a lot of the discussions I see online about it is, oh, if you're still mad at her, then you didn't get the game. Or, you know, it's like those extremes, and it's like, no, I get the game.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's
I can still have my feelings.
It's human nature to stick by your quote unquote like tribe, right? Like
somebody will cut me off in traffic in the morning and I will hate them. Like that's human nature.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to get around it.
If Last of Us 1 was the Abby story, it would be flipped. Like, absolutely. Even if, you know...
100%. 100%.
And that's just human nature. So you can understand something and still be like, well, I went through a journey with these people before. So even though I get it, I'm still mad about it. And I am interested to see if they're going to try to avoid that. Because I do think that was the purpose of the game. Like, I don't think it was like, you gotta love her too.
Right. It was very much, but and he has spoken about that. Neil Druckmann, whatever. He has spoken just about, like, there's dualities. And life is ugly, and it has sharp edges, and it's not something you can kind of put in a box and slap a bow on it. It doesn't work that way sometimes. Like, you have to learn to live with really ugly truths, and that was the game, and that's what made the game really good.
Yeah, that's what makes their writing really, you know. It's the same, I mean, it's almost the same, it's a different lesson, but the same one from the first one. Of, like, if you look at it in a world view, what the Joel's decision, I think objectively, you can say was the wrong one.
I would do it, but I agree. He made the wrong choice.
For the big picture, he made the wrong choice. I don't believe what people say he ruined humanity or he condemned humanity, because I think if the first game and the first show was set right after the outbreak, I would agree with it. But I think everything's so fallen apart. I don't think having a cure would fix how the world is. No, I think it would add a different
facet of the world, but
yeah. But the factions won't go away. I don't think the Fireflies would be the benevolent distributor of the vaccine. You know, I think they would use it to wield power, and hopefully well. But it's no different, you know.
No, once people have power, they don't like giving it back.
So, or they're gonna play like God and decide who can have this vaccine. And for whatever reason, you're not allowed because you were born in this one place that made you feel like you had to join, like, Fedra or something, right?
But I do think you and I tend to objectively look at not even The Last of Us, but just, like, pretty much in all of the fandoms that we talk about. Even though we don't always agree, I think usually you and I kind of land on the what is everybody talking about
yeah,
side of things, because we don't see things quite like other people see things.
Well, I think we're also, like, so much better than everybody. I think a lot of people, I feel like, especially online, like to think their opinions are facts. So even if you and I don't agree, it's not an argument because we're talking about fiction or you know, something that's not real and not that serious. We don't have to agree. Agree to disagree is a great tool. And you can still discuss it, but there's this era of like, why is everybody so stupid that they don't understand this thing that I believe and think is true? And it's like,
yeah, like, I mean, you mentioned it like 2 minutes ago, but like you're not media literate because you didn't get it.
Media
like, no,
I hate that.
Yeah, I have a different opinion.
If you don't agree with me, it's media illiteracy. It's like, no, it's a difference of opinion. I agree that there's some media literacy. I just don't think if I don't agree with you, that's what that means. Sometimes we just don't agree. Or, you know, I can see your point. That's not what I took away from it.
Right.
I can see how you got there, though, and that's great.
Exactly. Like, I see the stepping stones.
Right.
I went left, you went right, whatever.
We will eventually meet up again. Unless...
I'm so curious. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be online and like read reactions to this season.
I don't think I will before doing this. I think I will keep to myself and not want to be influenced by other like opinions. But I don't think I would mind, because people do. I mean, sure, the internet is accessible, but people also have pretty good thoughts of like, oh, I didn't think about that before. And I would be interested to bring that in. I don't want to bring in, you know, stereotypical fandom behavior stuff.
Right.
But people theories and stuff, I'd be, you know. I never thought of this. I read this online. I didn't realize this. Oh, that's another, you know, they did that after the episode thing, and they're talking about Joel is starting to realize that his lie is affecting their relationship.
Joel, it's been 5 years.
And I'm like, and my thought was
Jesus
like,
Christ.
are you guys trying to be like, is this a spoiler-free thing, or is Joel stupid?
Joel's stupid.
Because of like
100% stupid.
How does he not understand that? Like, in the least. But
especially right before Jackson, they're done. They're gonna go live their lives. Like, you could see it so clearly plastered on Ellie's face. She's like, okay, I'll believe you. Her facial features, her tone of voice, her body language all says you are a freaking liar. But I guess it's easier to just suck that all up and just say, okay, she believes me, and like live in the delusion of it.
Well, see, that's why that's my question of, do you think she actually believed him? I think she chose to. But I don't think it was in a way that's like, I don't know, that's it. I am choosing to believe you. You better not prove me wrong.
Right.
That sort of thing. Like, she chose to believe him.
I want to continue down that conversation, but we're gonna have to come back.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to come back to, I guess, that line.
It'll come up again.
Yeah.
It'll for sure come up again. And I think you said next week you're out of town.
Yeah.
So I will awkwardly talk to myself, I think. Or should I just skip it and wait for you to come back? And we can do a 2-3? Huh?
Yeah. We'll do a double feature.
Okay. Yeah. So next week, nothing, which I'm sure everybody will miss. And
people will be writing all over Reddit.
I can't believe they're skipping an episode. And then after episode 3, we'll discuss both episodes. Like, I think you said you have a little bit more time then too.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds great.
Okay.
Good talk. Good talk.
Go team.
All right. I'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
All right. Bye.
Bye. And that was it. That's the first awkward. I think it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good, but that's kind of the structure of everything. We're just going to talk about that. Hopefully we don't get off on too much tangents of other games and TV shows next time, but just a casual discussion. And if anybody wants to comment on it later, I will be putting up the video on YouTube. Same name, Space Cryptids. And that was, I don't know if we introduced ourselves. That was my friend Sonia. And you can follow her on Instagram, I think. She does a lot of horror book reviews and stuff for come back to Spooky Curious, I think it is, on Instagram. All right, so I'm actually gonna play a little bit of Into the Dead again in a couple minutes, and I'll come back for that. All right, bye.